Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. In today's video, we are talking New Year's resolutions. And every single year, most of us probably make it. But the question is, are we successful in it? Luckily, I have a journal of all my New Year's resolutions for probably the past 5-6 years. So I'm able to go back. And honestly, thank God I'm able to say that I was able to achieve a lot of what I set out to. And sometimes it wasn't in that year, but maybe the next year or the year after. So I've been doing some research to make sure that I share with you with ways that you can amp up and really motivate yourself to accomplish your New Year's resolution for the year 2023, because there is no time to be wasting. Time is flying by really quickly. There are some few steps that you can take to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to achieve all of your New Year's resolutions. So here we go with 10 steps that I found from an article about how to improve your effectiveness in accomplishing your New Year's resolution. One way to make sure that you will achieve your New Year's resolution is to be realistic when making them. For example, why would you make a resolution that you want to exercise 3 hours a day every single day? 3 hours is a lot for anyone, but especially if you're working, if you have things to do, maybe you can start out smaller. So be realistic, know where you are, and make sure that you are making plans to be realistic about where you're going. Something the article did put as an example, which I'll be linking in the description below, is a lot of people may say, I will never eat like my favorite food again. For example, if your favorite food is like candy or ice cream, or you want to make sure you're healthier, but a lot of times it's not about never eating it again. This is life. You want to enjoy life a little bit, but maybe you can cut it down. So instead of me eating chocolate chip cookies every single day, I could be like, maybe I'll just eat them once a week, or maybe I'll just bake some myself and make it once a month. And that's me just knowing that this is something I love. And chocolate chip cookies never killed anyone. Not in moderation. That's just an example, but there's so many things in our lives that we want to just cut out and be unrealistic about. But no, be realistic about your goals. Know where you are, where you want to go, and what is the most realistic way to get there. Number 2 is to plan ahead. A lot of times when people are making New Year's resolution, they rush and making either on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What you want to make sure is that these are goals that you have, and you're not just putting there because that's goals that, you know, is famous, everybody just puts on there. I want to exercise more. I mean, who doesn't, right? Everybody say they want to exercise more, lose a couple of pounds, be healthier, drink more water. But are they your goals? And one way to make sure is that to be reflecting. I start thinking about my New Year's goals in December, reflect over the past year, and I want to know where I'm going. Just like little things I'm just thinking about. What can I do better for the next year? Well, how can I be better? So I make sure that I'm thinking about it and I write it down. So normally even before New Year's Eve, I'm already done, or I have a solid idea of what I want to do for that year. But honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with extending your New Year's resolution into the new year. So don't rush to complete them by New Year's Day. I mean, is there a law to say that, right? Who's gonna arrest you if you add a couple more on the 3rd of January? Take your time, and if you've not already made your New Year's resolution, take this time to make it. But it's always good to plan ahead. Number 3 is that whilst you're planning for whatever you want to achieve, make sure that you outline how to achieve those. Don't make it just redundant. So for example, if I say, I want to travel to 4 countries in 2023. Well, how am I going to get there? Where's the money? Who am I going with? When am I going to go? How long do I want to stay? So you don't want to just make plans sound good and not have a plan on how to achieve them. So make a plan. If I want to read more books, say 1 book every single month, well, I have to outline maybe every single day I'll take 30 minutes out of the day to read a part of the book and make sure that I'm completing it at the end of each month. That's a plan, because the book is not going to read itself. It really isn't. Wouldn't that be nice? And that's for anything. If you want to exercise more, now you have to put into plan. When do you want to exercise? What days do you want to exercise? How often do you want to exercise? Do you want to take breaks? So making sure that you have a plan on how to achieve that goal. And going into number 4, they said make a pro and cons list. Now, this is something that I don't do, but I think it can actually be helpful on goals that are more difficult for some people, or it's very challenging to start. If something that you've been really wanting to do and you just really need this to work, or even if it's like eating healthy, you can make a pros and cons list of like, what's the pro of eating healthy? What are the cons of eating healthy? What are the pros of eating unhealthy? And what are the cons of eating unhealthy? And for that, when it's time to make a difficult decision, or when you are trying to figure out what to eat, maybe you can refer back to that as a reminder of why you started this in the first place. It can be the same for financial things. If you want to save money, you can make a pros and cons list of why I should build my emergency fund, right? So when you feel like spending that money on a new pair of shoes, you can go back to that list and say, my pro is that I don't have to worry. If God forbid I lose my job, or if I get sick, I at least have a few months of cushion to catch me. And I think this can be very helpful. I don't think it's necessary for every single goal, but I especially think for the challenging goals, I think this one is the way to go. 5, they say, is to talk about it. And this is one that I think you may want to, or you may not want to. There are certain goals that I have that I don't feel comfortable talking about, and because they're personal and I want people to see it happening, or it's happened, but rather than me telling them, and I don't even know how to explain it. Like I'm sure like there's some goals that probably just don't want to share because you don't want people reminding you, right? You don't want people to remind you like, oh, you said that you were gonna lose like 10 pounds. I don't see no 10 pounds being dropped off and it's like November. You know, you don't want people reminding you those kinds of things. Or maybe you said you were going to go back to school and now it's like September, but things happen, right? So you don't want to talk about it because it's something that I want you to see that's happened. I want to talk about it once it's happening or had happened. There are other goals that I don't mind sharing, goals that I talk to my friends about because we have similar goals. There are things we all want to improve on. So there's no reason why I should hide if I feel comfortable sharing that. But somebody may not feel comfortable sharing that. Maybe they want you to see the results of them eating healthy. So I think you should pick and choose which goals you want to talk about, which ones you want to share. And then there are other goals, of course, that are spiritual, religious. Maybe you want to read your Bible more, maybe you want to pray more, but it's more of a personal thing rather than you sharing it out loud because you want to hold yourself accountable and have your own personal conviction versus somebody else putting their opinions in your life. One is a good step for certain goals, but I definitely think there are some goals that I would definitely keep to myself. Number 6 is to reward yourself. I think it's so underrated, rewarding yourself and appreciating yourself and taking care of yourself because that is so important. And with New Year's goals, it is important to acknowledge when you're doing it and going towards achieving that goal and to reward yourself. And I would say especially if you're able to achieve certain goals during the year, maybe you can have rewards for each goal. Maybe if I'm able to pay off my student loan debt, I will finally save up to go on that trip that I always wanted to go to. Or take myself out, buy myself a new dress. But make sure that you have rewards for yourself and a way to appreciate yourself. Even if it's buying yourself a nice meal, even a frappuccino. Acknowledge to yourself that you did good. So throughout this year and for the rest of the years, make sure that when you're achieving your New Year's goals, you appreciate yourself. Number 7 is to track your progress. I think that it is so good when we are able to track things. I mean, the saying goes, you can't manage what you don't measure. So how are you going to manage your goals and your resolutions if you are not measuring them, tracking them? And it doesn't have to be a daily thing. It could be that you go back to your goals at the end of every single week or every single month. I think that might be good. You don't want to drive yourself crazy. So maybe every single month you go and then you see which goals you've been focusing on. Maybe you want to shift to something else. Maybe you've achieved that, because you don't want to write down all of these goals and then go back in November and be like, oh my God, like I didn't achieve like half of these things. 11 months of the year have already gone by. It doesn't mean you can't achieve more. You can't achieve any more for the rest of November and December. But my point is, it will be more effective if you are going back on a monthly basis to check up on your goals. You can do this. You can track your progress with somebody who's keeping you accountable or with yourself. Maybe you can open up a document, write down your progress, track it. Make sure that you know where you are. Number 8 is to not beat yourself up for goals that you don't accomplish or goals that you don't finish accomplishing. So let's say that you wanted to eat healthy all the time, but then maybe you ended up eating healthy maybe just 80% of the time, or maybe even 50% of the time. Guess what? That is still 50% more than you were doing previously. So still acknowledge that change has happened and make sure that even if you don't accomplish any of your goals, which I mean, hopefully this will help you accomplish some at least, but even if you're not able to accomplish everything, you can still acknowledge that maybe something happened. Are there things I can do better? Ways that I can plan better, I can track better, so that next year or the year after that, I'll be able to finally accomplish it. Because see, insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. So making sure that you acknowledge what you're doing, you're tracking what you're doing, so that even if you don't accomplish your goals by the end of the year, or even if it's like before the end of the year, you're still not beating yourself up for it, because you're the only person who's going to live with you 24/7. Okay, you're going to be with your mind, your body, your soul. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're being nice to yourself, you're being kind to yourself, because beating yourself over things that never happened doesn't change anything. It really doesn't. Number 9 is to stick to it. When you make those goals, have every intention of maintaining them. They say it takes 21 days to make a new habit. Sometimes I don't think that's true, but 21 days is a great start. But you can just put it on your planner. Like, that's what I do. I put it in my planner and remind myself to do it and to accomplish the task. So making sure that you are tracking your progress and sticking to it. Stick to it when things get hard. Stick to it when times are challenging. Stick to it, because there is real reward. There's a reason why you wrote that as your goal, and so there is a real reward at the end. So making sure that you stick to it till it becomes a habit and you do it muscle memory style. And number 10 builds off of that, which is to make sure that you keep trying. You may not get it right the first time, and I'm talking about within the year as well. So let's say that I wanted to go to the gym every single day, but for some reason the first week of January I did good, right? I went, but then I skipped out on the second week, and then third week I went halfway, and the fourth week I didn't go at all. When you realize that February is a new month, start again, try again, go every single day, plan to go. So making sure that you keep trying on those goals. If you don't eat healthy today, that has nothing to do with eating healthy tomorrow. You can eat healthy tomorrow, or maybe tonight. You went out and you splurged on a lot of things that you didn't need. That has nothing to do with the fact that you can still contribute to your emergency fund next pay period. So don't throw everything out, the baby with the bathwater, just because you weren't able to achieve something during this week or during this month. You can still keep trying, and do keep trying, because you've got this. We've got this. And 2023 is going to be an amazing year, and we're going to achieve so many goals because we're going to put these 10 things into effect, and we are going to make sure that we accomplish our goals. And even if we don't, we will still not beat ourselves up for it, and we will keep trying. So thank you all for watching this video. Comment as to which of these you're going to try, or how many of these that you are going to try to make sure that you stick to your New Year's resolutions. But thank you again. Like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because I post 2 videos every single week on Tuesdays and Fridays. So come on over and see what we're discussing. Bye!